Married men that came to realize you were just the safe choice. How did you deal with it or fix it?
Divorce. Really? She dropped the gem on me and I knocked out. Granted, there were a ton of other things too, but that one was pretty brutal. She also said I was a good paycheck. She is now living in a double wide in a dead-end job. At least she was right about the last one.
When my ex-wife started sleeping with another man and considered me her backup plan, that was it for me. Of course, in her mind I'm the one that didn't try hard enough, but with all that and the other lies it was too much.
We divorced. She wasn't happy in the marriage like I thought she'd be, since she holding on to those feelings for a while. I was happy and took care of everything. In the end she said I was an amazing man, but she couldn't find her spark for me anymore.
My ex-wife stayed with me because I continued to stay with her after her physical and mental abuse. But when she told a mutual friend that leaked back to me that the only reason I stay with him is because he works hard and I don't want to, I left and never looked back. She told me she resented me because I wouldn't pay for her to go on vacations that I wasn't allowed to go on. Obviously, in hindsight, it was to her boyfriend. The same woman would also tell me I'd never have a college degree, that I didn't have the motivation to do it. Well, I now have a MS. I made sure to dedicate my announcement that I was graduating with a master's to all the people that ever doubted me.
Not me, but a friend of mine. He heard his wife talking on the phone to a friend about how she settled for him and that she has him wrapped around her finger. And then bragged about how she could do anything and get away with it. That's when he realized the last 4 years had been a lie and he divorced her shortly after. He never told her why he filed for divorce till after the divorce was final. She apparently cried to him and pleaded, saying she was just joking with a friend. He didn't buy it.
I stopped being the backup plans for other people.
Get the out before it's too late. Never be with a woman who doesn't really want you. She will grow to hate you for not being who she wanted, and she'll make your life miserable out of resentment.
My friend was a safe option, and now he is divorced and is paying alimony to her. Being the safe option is gonna end up in divorce. Women out here getting married to men they don't like, and then divorcing the man because they never liked him in the first place. You boys be careful out there in the jungle.
Me mom married my dad, who was the safe option. He is sensitive, educated, good with money and had a good job back then. He lacks some empathy skills, so they argued about him wanting to play video games after work and she wanted a break from parenting. Also had a small business with other local new moms. Since then she has only dated really unempathetic, unsensitive, unambitious men. The safe choice is not what everyone wants. AMD eventually they figure it out. Not sure if it would have been better any other way, but it is what it is. She currently despises her current husband for relying on her for everything, being bad at making income, and generally not being empathetic. I honestly don't know what goes though, people's luck I guess.
My mom constantly says this about my dad. Constantly. I am 30. They are still together. I'm not sure he is aware she feels this way.
So basically, women want Indiana Jones. A handsome, confident man with a stable, well-paying job, who is sometimes unpredictable and wild. A man who is definitely flawed in some ways, but despite his challenges, figures out how to salvage a win from the jaws of got it.
It seems like some people here don't quite get what safe choice means in this context. It means backup plan, the most readily attainable guy that has his together. In this scenario, the wife might not actually love or respect the man, might have wanted someone else instead, and is only on board to be there so long as there's benefits to be had. Not because they actually want anything to do with you as a person. That's not where you want to be in with your supposed life partner.
I went my own way, saved my own money, bought my own house, invested my own money, and now I'm poised for retirement before 40. Granted, I wasn't married, so I skipped on the asset division and child support.
I'm happy being a safe choice any day. It's when that, just, context gets thrown in there that the problem happens. Safe should be the goal. Safe is loving. Safe is loyal. Safe is someone you can meet up with at the end of the day and feel at home. When she slept around, she stopped being my safe choice, so I divorced her.
This is a good one. I won't speak for my own experience, but I will for my soon-to-be ex-brother-in-law. He was the safe option. He was nothing like the men my sister would date. He was simply just safe. He's go above and beyond for her. The guy lived to support her. At the time of them getting together, my sister was alone. She was passing by paycheck to paycheck and struggling in many aspects of her life. This guy was simply willing to do what she hated to do, which was work. Anyways, I started getting the impression that was beginning to rush things really fast, and I personally liked the guy, but I just knew he was making a mistake. I tried to warn him about running too fast with a blindfold on, but he was such an emotional guy with abandonment issues. So you guys can already imagine the type of guy he was. So fast forward, he starts making money and starts trying to have my sister move in with him, and she does, because the place he finds is better than the room she was renting by herself at the time. They live together for a while until one day they secretly get married. I know it was his doing. I know he just got in his feelings and decided that stupidity was a great idea. They randomly announce one day at a family dinner that they got married. My parents were there, and I shook my head because I knew that no matter what, that was ending in divorce. I told my mother what I thought, and she never believed it would end in divorce. She said she saw him too dumb. All over a little over a decade later, they are divorcing. She never directly told him, or maybe did hint it in certain arguments, but basically, he started to catch on to what he always knew. The ticking time bomb he had buried in the back of his head slowly started to come to the center. When problems began, he admitted to my mom that he baby trapped her and married her as a reaction when feeling like he was losing his grip on her. What an idiot. Babies don't trap anyone. This is why I tell all the fellas to never deny the truth and decide to live a lie. Sometimes you're just too convenient. When the baby came, my sister was simply more dependent on him. That's all, it was dependence. Her refusal to be a single mother. He was never a bad dude, it's not like she was miserable alongside him. But he somewhat was. Killing himself to provide for her and lavish her with gifts. It's not just about the man's perspective. It's about the woman's too. My sister admitted to me about regret of not ending up with someone who would have been her top pick. He spent most of his life being a pleaser to be picked, all for him to end up over a decade later paying child support and never live a lie. Be realistic to why you ended up being picked even when you weren't the first pick.
I'm not married, but my first and only relationship so far, which only lasted about 3 weeks, was a similar situation. I got into a relationship and shortly into it found out she was cheating with her roommate's casual fling. Much later on, it was revealed to me by her now ex-roommate why she even got with me in the first place. Basically, I was the safe option. I would care for her and had more to give financially than the guy she really liked, and I did. I did care for her and spent money to make sure she wasn't lacking. I didn't get intimate with her because she wouldn't let it go that far. I thought she was just taking it slow, but she was actually just this other guy who she really liked. The guy was a boy and was mainly just using her for fun. She knew it and didn't mind. How did I deal with it? I left her. But I've learned some lessons from it. The most important being, I will never be any woman's safe. I'm learning cues to pick up on to know whether a woman is really interested in you and why. I know you probably can't always tell, but at least I'll be more prepared for the next time.
I'm a addicted felon, so that doesn't cross my mind.
Pretty confident that I'm the safe choice. I can't quite confirm it though. I do know that my needs are irrelevant to her. She blames endometriosis for that, which is a logical, understandable reason to not have if you've ever been around it. That said, I'd be happy with a She's critical of about everything I do. Not over the top critical, but there's always a comment. Or some lingering thought, if you will, that I missed something. There's never resolution in our conversations. Not ever. It always ends in her saying, okay fine. Then we'll do that. If we are talking about making a schedule or something for the kids. But it's the tone of voice and the look in her eye that says it's not fine. And it usually isn't. She goes and does her own thing anyway. There's generally not a lot of respect from her. I'm a good man, I don't sit down really. I don't want TV. I can build her a house and maintain it. I work but I'm not rich. I don't cheat. I take great care of our kids. She drives a brand new car, I drive the old one. I generally do 2x the work around the house than she does, but she often makes trivial complaints about the house. I renovated it to her taste. Like a complete gut job. It looks brand new and I did showroom quality work. It stings when she says that. Like my work isn't good enough. But when I want to go fishing or help my parents on the farm, she finds every reason I'm in going. It's as if doing something for myself is a problem. IDK how this road ends for us. We have a year-old and a 1-week-old. She's treated me this way since before we had kids. It's just now that I'm starting to see how little respect she has for me.